all things cultural and rock oriented. I'm reading an article here. It's entitled something to the effect of Paul Stanley being sick and tired of the final later Kiss albums. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these guys are done. But they keep coming out there because, there's always room to come back, right, folks? It says here Paul Stanley has a simple mantra for everything he plans to do in the future. He says, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing, he tells Ultimate Classic Rock. Now, Paul Stanley can likely afford that luxury. It's a little bit of a broad statement, if you ask me, because let's face it, life has things that are not going to be fun. But he says if it's not fun, he's not going to do it. Well, I'm going to have to wish Mr. Stanley good luck on that, because if he hasn't learned by 72 years old that everything isn't fun, but still sometimes you got to do it, well, the guy's got a problem. Mind you, I like Kiss. I've enjoyed them so many times over the years, but still seems to be something of an immature attitude. Now, it says here, Kiss played what will reportedly be their final concerts as a group, finally, that they've wrapped up their tour as of last December. But anyway, Paul Stanley's not doing anything if it isn't fun. So we wish Mr. Stanley luck. He's going to be down in Florida at the Wentworth Galleries in Fort Lauderdale on February 24th. I believe that is this Saturday. So you can go check him out. I'm sure that there is quite a fee to see Mr. Stanley and then purchase his artwork, which is kind of nice if you haven't checked it out. It's nothing earth-shattering, but it is kind of nice. But that's what Paul Stanley's doing. That's what he finds fun these days, is sitting in a gallery in Fort Lauderdale and telling you how to spend your money. Come on over and buy my stuff. Buy my stuff. It's fun. It's fun. It's all about the fun. All right, folks. Thanks so much. DJ Buddy Boca checking in with you. Hello, fans of rock music and old people like me. Your old pal, DJ Buddy Boca, digging into this stuff that not too many people care about anymore. But I know there's a few of us out here, and it still tickles me. I'm going to read an article here. There was an article today in Ultimate Classic Rock website and magazine. The title of the article was Peter Frampton Was Tricked into Being in the Sgt. Pepper Film. Now, many of you have seen this movie. I actually haven't. And what are we now, 45, 46 years later or so? As I recall, it featured the Bee Gees, Peter Frampton, who was something of a teenage heartthrob at the time, much to his chagrin. Listen, I think that being a teenage heartthrob exposed him to a whole new audience that has since matured and loves him to this day. Who else was in that? Aerosmith. I think Alice Cooper may have had a spot in it. A bunch of people at the time who were big in the late 1970s, and many who had continued on past that spot. But it says here, Peter Frampton says he was tricked into appearing in the much maligned 1978 jukebox musical film Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. During a recent appearance on the Bob Lefsetz podcast, shout out to Bob. Shout you out, Bob. Shout me out. DJ Buddy Boca here, vlogging. All right, Tom. On the Bob Lefsetz podcast, Frampton revealed how he was turned into joining the Beatles-inspired project. I was told by producer Robert Stigwood that Paul McCartney was going to be the savior of Heartland, Frampton explained. When Stigwood said Paul is going to be in the movie, I said, really? Well, if the Beatles going to be in the movie and he's sanctioned it, then it can't be bad. Have you seen the movie, folks? Mention something in the comments below if you've seen it, if it's worth my time. I know as we get older, time becomes much more precious. That timeline, is shortening. You're always close. You never know what's going to happen, but you become more aware because you've had more of it. And the likelihood of your timeline shortening, well, it shortens. Anyway, Frampton says it didn't take long for the reality of the situation to sink in. I fly out to Los Angeles. I go to the first meeting out there. No Paul McCartney. So I was lied to, Frampton explained. Then I realized from the first day of shooting, oh, this was a disaster. I didn't walk because I would have been sued to high hell. Likely true. But we all hated being in that movie. Well, 45 years later, I bet somebody, including Mr. Frampton, is still getting residuals from the music, as well as the streaming, and I guess not any eBay sales. Anyway, it says here there was no script. Robert Stigwood, had industry clout thanks to his work with Cream and the Bee Gees, as well as the films Saturday Night Fever and Jesus Christ Superstar. If you're ancient like me, you remember those movies, and if you read the credits, you saw Robert Stigwood's name. It says here, in addition to Frampton, the ensemble cast featured the Bee Gees, Steve Martin, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, and despite such heavy hitters, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was a critical and commercial flop. Anyway, it says everyone thought we couldn't fail, and it would have been good, Frampton admitted. The only thing I'll say about it is there was no script, and rest in peace, George Martin should not have been the guy to do the music. Because imagine doing that with Jeff Emmerich, the Beatles. You don't have the Beatles, I would imagine they were not enjoying it. What does that sentence mean? Do you know? I don't know. But if you have an opinion about that movie, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, not the album, because pretty much everybody loves that album, but that movie, comments below. Let me know. Okay? Because maybe with your recommendation, I'll watch it, and then I'll give you my opinion. And that's all for now. Your old pal, DJ Buddy Boca, checking in from the Rock Garden. I'll see ya. Bye.